Over the years, we've tried essentially every single digital audio workstation or DAW to create music while traveling, while on tour as a mobile musician. We've narrowed it down to the number one app that we recommend for musicians who are on the go, portable studios with their creative bags. And we're talking about none other than Steinberg's Cubasis. Hiroyo is going to dive in and show us around the app. And of course, we're going to explain the three major reasons why this app is either really good and where it's really strong, but also where we could find some of the weaknesses or challenges. So we're here with myself, Justin Blends, as well as Hiroyo Watanabe. You can always check us out, of course, at dipsvibes.com for our music and much more. Hiroyo, the first thing that we're going to get into is the idea that Cubasis lets us build richer sound palettes. Can you explain why this is super critical and useful and how it's done essentially through Cubasis, this super cool multi-platform mobile DAW?
AUV3.
AUV3. What is AUV3? So okay. AUV3 is, or AU is audio unit. This is version 3. This is an iOS or Apple exclusive technology that allows us to integrate sounds, let's say, and even effects. So instruments and effects, VSTs, plugins, presets, modules created by other developers directly into Cubasis. So as you see, Hiroyo is sharing like a synth, a bass synth, a synthesizer that's from one developer, but she's got them or it loaded directly into Cubasis. So just like on desktop, you can load up presets and such from, or VSTs and effects and such from other developers. You can also do the same with Cubasis, and also just kind of generally speaking with a lot of iOS applications such as Cubasis. So let me understand in a way, why is it such an interesting thing for you to have this in a mobile experience, Hiroyo?
Layers. Of course, the other DAW has a lot of different sounds. Like FLSM has tons of sound. They're called Gadget, also tons of sound, variety of sounds. It's pad or strings or brass or more different interesting synth sound. Yes, but think about it. It's just one developer sound. That's the key of the layering. Is very the layering makes the sound richer. I learned from the acoustic instrumental players like trumpeter or trombone player. They mention about that overtone or harmonics. That sound makes richer. But how can we make the sound in digitally, right? So think about it. The different developers or company can create different character of the sound itself. So of course, Gadget has a string sound, or Audio Kit has string sound, but the different character, not just only the different ADSL. I will explain later ADSL, but the frequency cutoff, nothing like that. It's core, maybe algorithm. Core of the sound is different. Layer
the texture,
and layer.
The tone.
Yes. Building up the layer can make more richer and colorful sound.
Right. So instead of a closed ecosystem, so we do love, you guys know, from Winning with Blends, that channel's all about FL Studio Mobile, but all of the sounds that are in that application, unless you bring them from somewhere else, like import them or as a wave audio or something like that, they're all essentially image line or FL Studio Mobile sounds. So they're, even if the sound quality and the texture and all of it is really good, it's still essentially the same kind, the same feeling, the same texture and so forth.
Tonality.
Whereas color tonality, right? Whereas with Cubasis, because it does have AUV3 or AU audio unit compatibility, you could bring in sounds from all sorts of applications to create your own style, I guess, your own sound, a variety of sounds, a variety of angles and textures and tones. So I totally understand. So AUV is going to change. Who knows? AUV4, it could be AUV5 over time. But the simple point is that you can bring sounds from different apps in, whether you're using Korg or Moog or Audio Kit or Yonex or Clave Grand or Versin, UVI,
Wow.
Baby Audio. Oh my gosh,
So
Audio
many,
Damage, Brambos, Blias.
so many people are in the one tablet. So that
Yeah.
is very good for traveling
Right.
with so many people behind you. I feel
Right,
like
totally understandable. Yeah, so harmonics are very important. This is why, you know, I talk a lot about using distortion. It's one of my favorite plugins to use with FL Studio Mobile, the distortion plugin, because we're looking at overtones and harmonics, things that can actually bring out different textures in the sound to make it cut through your mix a lot nicer and actually represent the sounds better and well for mobile devices or devices that have lower fidelity in terms of the frequency response, right? So this is a really good section here of this FL Pro app. This is our website. We'll also link that in the description, right? It's great for mixing and mastering kind of guides here, as well as audio processing right here. You'll see this, a lot of cool tips for that. But let's get back specifically to Cubasis. One of the things that I like so much about Cubasis, before we move on to our next kind of major pro or con as to why this is such a great tool for mobile musicians, is the fact that, look, it's available through Apple. So you can use it on your iOS devices, your mobile devices. You can also use it on Chromebooks. And of course, you can use it on your mobile phone or your tablet that is an Android device. So tons of tools to use already built into the app. It's great for recording wave audio. That's another reason why we say it's one of the best, or if not the best, is because it's really the closest emulation that we have to desktop recording software. FL Studio Mobile is close and great for mixing and mastering, but it's not necessarily as easy and simple and to use with wave audio. Okay, that's one of the absolute benefits of using Cubasis. Now, I want to show everybody super quickly before Hiroyo dives in and shows us a little more, because I know she wants to probably show us a little more of the app and get into some of the other reasons why it's either a really good app or not. You can actually take a look at the comparison between iOS, as you see Cubasis iOS, plus the other versions. I would really just look here and look here, because this one is the light version. So the first column and the third column, you'll notice that there are certain things that you just can't do unless you're using the iOS version. That's all I'm going to say. Right? That's it. And it's not to say that you shouldn't buy it on other devices. It's just we absolutely recommend doing it directly in iOS, because you're going to likely have a little more functionality. It's going to be a little better and a little more flexible, right? If you do it through iOS. This is why we recommend it. Guys, again, at the end of this video, we're going to share 5 of the DAWs that we really like. Of course, Cubasis is one of them, but you're going to kind of see why we choose iOS as the main way for this to go. So let's go to another reason why. So of course, the first major reason is that we can create great layers using a variety of sounds from different developers. And essentially create a rich palette of sounds. The second thing, and this one affects us a lot, because we had a very interesting topic with one of the members, one of the subscribers or members of the channel, and they asked us about other apps and what we think, whether Cubasis or FL Studio Mobile or Logic and Logic Pro and so forth. And the thing that we found is that Cubasis feels more like ownership, not like rental. Hiroyo, please speak to this. Nice. Okay, so we have App Raven. This is our profile on App Raven. It's a great tool that allows us to see new apps that are live, when they're on sale, publishers, and what new tools they have, maybe their accessible or not. Maybe they're taken out of the App Store, maybe they've been updated and so forth. But we create a lot of collections to share with you guys, and we'll be creating more. And what do you want to say about this? I see Power DAWs,
Here,
right?
yeah, Power DAWs. You can see the price here. Ta-da!
Right.
This is just one-time fee. So that
Right.
is the strongest point for Cubasis. Not only Cubasis, you can see the called Gadget 3 and then also FLSM as well. It's just one time to get
Right.
that
One
one.
time. Not a subscription-based
No,
model. We
no.
don't think it's so bad to do subscriptions, because of course we do have products that focus on subscriptions as well. But as a musician, it will be nice and it's comforting in a way to just buy something one time and you own it.
Because this DAW is not just a thing or just service, more like palette or platform or fundamental things.
Fundamental utility, yeah.
Yes, if we lose this fundamental utility, we can't create anymore. We can't get back anymore, right?
Right.
If I cancel something DAW of subscription model, I can't say this is my production. This
Yeah,
is
you
my
can't commit
sound.
to it.
No,
Yeah, I get the point.
This
It's happened with me.
I'm so afraid of that, right? This is what I created, but I cannot say this. Oh my gosh.
I totally
Right.
get it. And it's already troubling as well because we're using software and who knows if there's it's already volatile and could possibly disappear almost at any time or become incompatible. So it's even more negative pressure on us not to be able to use the app as our own, right? The subscription model is good for a lot of things. In my view, generally speaking, as a music creator, I would like to have the app and have it just be called like an app that I bought, not an app that I'm essentially renting, right? So for some
Exactly.
people, right, for some people that may be okay. For us, it is okay in a way, but you'll see that our Power DAWs collection really only has 3. It doesn't mean we don't have another 3 or 4 that we like. It's just if we keep the list as slim as possible, those are the top 3 in no particular order, but those are the top 3 we would say. And of course, they all happen to be one-time purchases, right? So that's one of the super strong points about Cubasis. Now, there's definitely one thing about Cubasis that we find is kind of weak. Before we get to the major thing that could be kind of weak, it's really not that bad, but it is a little tricky. For me, one of the challenges with Cubasis, sometimes the app can be a little buggy, maybe. I think actually this is the third thing right here.
Yeah, already I had the experience today. So
Today, as you
yes. So different developers to connect with just one palette as Cubasis sometimes doesn't load correctly.
Right. So it's safe to say that the open workflow of this app is great, but it also requires careful project management.
Exactly.
Right.
You have to store your session file in the different places. That would be best.
You better sometimes save it. See, so the thing I was going to say is that it has this auto save functionality. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I like it and I don't like it sometimes, right? I like, for example, FL Studio Mobile has a state save. So if you close the app or if your battery dies and you reload it, it loads it up at the last point. And you can choose then to save it. But everything you do in Cubasis saves every step. You adjust the volume of this, you add a plugin, you delete something, it saves. So it's constantly going, it's constantly firing. And that could be tricky. So
Exactly. Sometimes
Right.
I forget to duplicate before doing.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I don't remember which one. It's okay to if you open it and then you can undo back to the
Right.
beginning.
That
But
is
if you
absolutely true,
close the app, you cannot get back what you did in the beginning. No. Oh, tricky
Yeah,
part,
yeah.
tricky part, tricky
It's
part.
tricky. Yeah.
Be
Yeah, I
careful.
totally understand. I'm totally into Cubasis. I'll be super clear about that. I think Cubasis is it's actually one of the first apps I really got into in terms of a DAW, other than GarageBand. Of course, GarageBand is always there for everybody, right? But yeah, we love the idea that you can just buy everything one time if you want. Just totally unlock everything, which I personally recommend getting these apps, the ones that we recommend at least, and just totally maxing them out. Buy every plugin, buy every sound pack. Just give it your all. Give them a chance to show you everything that they're worth, right? We use a lot of these sounds in our music that you can hear on dipsvibes.com. So
Yeah.
definitely recommend everybody check that, right? Yeah, like most of our stuff is produced in Cubasis. It doesn't mean that we're using all of the internal sounds, but a lot of our stuff is produced directly in Cubasis, of course, FL Studio Mobile and other apps too. But we've got to put Cubasis pretty much in a sense at the top. Now, talking about this is a little tricky because it's not like we're saying there's no other. They're not, no, we use all of them. It's just, again, for the average person who's especially coming from desktop, you're probably going to feel most at home with something like Cubasis. So hence the reason why we talk about it as the best. Now with Winning with Blends, you guys know I'm super into FL Studio Mobile. Like it's literally
Welcome
it's all
back.
there, right? But FL Studio Mobile does have a limitation in the sense that it's not as pleasing and as comfortable to edit wave audio the way it is in Cubasis, right? So I want to let everybody know, of course, check us out. First of all, join the community, the school community. The link for that will be in the bio. Of course, the link will be in the description as well. So definitely join us there. We are, of course, totally into music creation, artists. We have other apps. You join as a member, you can unlock access to Dips Vibes. Also joining Dips Vibes as a musician, you actually can earn monthly just by getting people to join the platform. So we're trying to essentially give back to anybody that wants to join us and meet us, shake hands, become a musician on the platform. This is great for DMCA free music. It's great for copyright, to avoid copyright strikes, right? So essentially, whether you're a live streamer or you have a business, you have a coffee shop or some type of spa, amusement park, you name it, we got tunes for everything. And you can essentially play these tunes in your videos and in your venues without having any troubles. Cubasis is one of our top apps. We think it is probably the best mobile app for making music as a producer while traveling. And we have another video, so definitely watch this one to see 5 of our top favorite best DAWs that we can use as a mobile musician, as a traveling musician, whether you're on tour or you're just a lifestyle musician like us who like to make music while you're in your bed, while you're on the patio, while you're in a car, on the train, in an airplane. And we'll link that right here, guys. Watch that video and we'll catch you in the next one. All the best.
Bye.
Take care.